Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. And keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy.
All right, folks, here we are on Thursday, March 7th. We're going to take a look at Gap today. So with earnings coming up, I thought we'd come and take a look and see where it might hit support or resistance, whether it booms or busts, and of course some levels that it might sort of pin itself to or work between if it does move relatively sideways. Now we see last earnings down here. We did have a big reaction following that, up over 30%. So we'll see how this report compares, if people still feel enthusiastic, if the sentiment is still bullish, or if folks think that, a lot of good news or on par news is already priced in, and maybe you get sort of like a counter reaction based on that. Or it could just be a poor report. We'll have to see what the actual report says. But this obviously leaves a gap that it would get into if it does come pretty far down. It would get into that gap at around 1594. It would fill it at around 1383. So just to mention those, we have some levels near those, but I didn't exactly put them on the chart. Now, if it does go relatively sideways, 1951 is the nearest in level that I have, and then slightly up 2020, slightly down 1834. Though a stock at this price, 1834, a decent percentage move, but not 30% obviously. Now, if it does push to the upside, 2182, 2264, and 2413 look like strong levels to me, and I did put an extra level up here at 2560 just in case. Now, if it does fall below that 1834, 1725, 1606, and then the gap that we talked about, in the gap, 1502, and then 1409, 1251, and all the way down 1153. So we have the spread, for this $19-ish stock from 1153 all the way up to 2560. So hopefully we're sort of encompassing enough of a range that we can cover our bases. We'll see. If it does move outside of these and folks are interested, leave me a comment. I'd be happy to come in and take a look at it again. Now, in the think or swim side of things, you see here's that big push up. There was no trigger and fire in the TTM squeeze indicator leading up to that, as you can see, but it's pushed nicely on that reaction to earnings, was able to maintain outside of the channel for quite some time. Really impressive move. It looked like it was going to go for a second move here, but resisted off of the upper bound of the channel, came in, tested the mid-range, tried to push again, sort of triple topped itself at that point. Or near so, and then came down, pushed the lower bound of the channel, and then did a little bit of back and forth, lower bound, upper bound, and now is pinning to the mid-range while it's going through a very lengthy trigger. We see this trigger and fire didn't amount to much, and like we said, this move came purely off of the earnings reaction, nothing in the TTM squeeze indicator. This time around, we have TTM squeeze indicator that already triggered and fired and didn't amount to much of anything. That's sort of where you got that move from bound to bound, and now it's re-triggering. So if we get a re-trigger and a refire on the earnings, sometimes that gives me added confidence that there could be a really explosive outsized move here. Now, which way that goes, I don't know. But that's what we look for from the TTM squeeze indicator, just, regardless of any sort of catalyst like earnings. So if this was just any other day and we were looking at this re-trigger and waiting for the refire, it'd sort of be saying the same thing. We're looking for an outsized move to result from this re-trigger and refire. So we'll see if those stars align at all, or if it does move relatively sideways, it would still be triggering and firing at some point. So it'd still be triggering and move sideways off of earnings and would still be pinned to the mid-range of the channel. So all in all, that may not be a bad option in and of itself. So we'll see what happens. But to the extent to which it does stay in the channel, right now the bounds of the channel are to the upside 2092 and to the downside 18. So we'll see if those play a factor as well. All right, folks, I hope that your trading week has been going well. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.